Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager for HAR, and I am joined this morning by Tracey, the safety lady Hawkins. Tracey, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking some time to join us this morning. I know you have a lot of information to share, updated safety tips to help our members stay safe. We're going to get to all of that in just a minute. But if you are watching this morning and you know of a realtor that could use some help when it comes to safety, please share this with them so they can see this as well, because this has been a really hot topic for a long time, but especially in the last few weeks as we've seen some headlines, unfortunately, involving realtors. So make sure to like this video and share it with your realtor friends. So Tracey, just to get us started here, I called you Tracey the safety lady, but if you could, just a quick introduction, who you are and what you do.
Okay, thank you, Christina, the birthday girl. Everyone, it's Christina's birthday, so happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
I am Tracey Hawkins. I am a former real estate agent. Actually, about 35, 36 years ago, I have a twin sister. Stacy and I got our real estate licenses. Stacy is still an active, lately super active here in Kansas City, an active agent, and I decided that I want to get into the safety business. So for over 25 years, I have been teaching agents across the country how to live and how to work safely. So this is my passion. I consider myself a subject matter expert. I know more about real estate safety than anyone. So I love doing this. And lately you can imagine that I've transferred over, I hate to say pivot, everybody gets mad,
Yeah.
but I've transferred over to virtual safety and I've been super busy. So I am loving this.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And it's really important that, like you said, you've been doing this for a long time, but you've made the transfer over. Virtual safety is a huge concern right now, as we'll discuss. So and I see a lot of people wishing me happy birthday, so thank you guys. Thank you, Tracey. um, so again, we've seen a lot of threats and a lot of different things. What would you say, though, right now is the biggest threat, safety threat to realtors?
Right. I forgot to mention that I also write for Realtor magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that for quite a while. And I just wrote an article about virtual safety. So agents had to learn how to work in a virtual manner in order to stay in business. And what I'm finding is that agents sometimes need a reminder. Working virtually is perfectly fine, but you still need to be careful. And you can always go to realtor. nar.realtor,
Mm-hmm.
search my name to find the article on virtual safety. One of the things that I talk about is when you're working virtually and you're doing your open house tours or you're just videotaping the properties, be careful what is shown in the background. So often you're excited, you get an opportunity to show the whole house. You need to be careful that you're not endangering the sellers or their valuables.
Mm-hmm.
So that means focus on the house. You don't necessarily need pictures of the expensive electronics in the media room, the expensive artwork, their gun collections, their jewelry. Things like that should not be on the virtual video. So be mindful of that. Also, you all know that if you're social media savvy, you know that being live gets you more views. It's higher in the algorithm for Facebook. When you're being live, you need to be extremely careful when you talk about your location, because stalking is a big deal in the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling people where you are, but you're also telling them where you are not. So I say be live, but do it with purpose. I did an interview for Woman Up. If you're on that Facebook or in that group,
Mm-hmm.
look at the blog post. I talk about a real estate agent who does live Facebook events. She does open houses, but she will not put the address on there. She says, if you're interested in this property, send me a private message or a comment, and I will follow up with you with the address. She's smart. She did that not only to let people know, to keep her privacy uh, protected, but also for lead gen. She said, now I have their contact information. I can follow up with them. So be careful telling where you are and where you are not.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And again, you've made this shift to virtual mostly because of the pandemic, I would imagine, and
Yes.
that's how people are working. So, would you say that really this pandemic is the biggest threat to realtors right now?
Working safely within a pandemic
Yeah.
is the biggest threat because we don't know what we don't know yet. This is all new to us and we're still learning. A lot of states are opening up now, and I'm hearing from those agents, but some are still not allowing open houses or not
Mm-hmm.
allowing showings. One of the things that scares me is that some places are completely open, just like everything, we're back to normal. So you have agents showing up, showing, sometimes without the PPE,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes just not even without even the basic mask,
Oh,
thinking that this
yeah.
is serious.
So,
And you know the numbers.
yeah, exactly. So, in regard to COVID, here in Texas, we're not under a lockdown. Real estate was deemed essential, which is wonderful for our members and all of their clients that may have had pending transactions. We wouldn't have wanted to see, that those be canceled or anything like that. So, realtors who are at this point choosing to go work in the field, what can they do to protect themselves, to stay safe?
How can I say it gently, delicately, and politely? Use PPE. I can't say it any more clearly because the virus isn't going anywhere. The lockdowns are up. The people, my sister, she's been showing. She just wrote a contract. It's like she's been busy showing since Kansas City lifted its the whatever the restriction. But what I'm saying to you is the virus is still out there. We see the numbers climbing in Texas, other places. That means that you still need to protect yourself from the virus. I have talked to agents who have their PPE kits with them. I had an agent say, I have mine. And when I'm going to show a property, if the sellers won't let us in, because you don't have PPE on, she said, I'm not going to lose a sale. So I carry a PPE kit, which means she has extra booties, extra masks, extra gloves for her buyers who are looking for property. That way she doesn't have to worry about losing a sale. So PPE. Here in Kansas City, the mayor just made masks mandatory. At first, we weren't mandatory, but he's saying we're not doing what we need to do to stay safe. So even if it's not mandatory, I think agents should assume that they need to protect the sellers, because you don't want to walk into your seller's house or any listing and possibly endanger them. So if not for yourself, do it for the sellers, do it for the buyers, because goodness knows we don't want to be the ones that they trace it back to.
Yeah.
So PPE, I can't say it enough.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion, and maybe you could give some insight into this because a few members are asking. Typically, when we're doing open houses, whether they are in person or virtual, you are promoting it ahead of time, right? I'm going to hold an open house from 3 to 5 on Sunday or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's a virtual, you're saying be sure to tune in at this date and time. What could we be doing to protect ourselves? And that's something that, as far as our virtual open house platform, we can pass along to our technology team to look at. But just in general, maybe they're using another platform, Facebook Live or something like that. If you're promoting in advance, what are some things that you can do to protect yourself?
First and foremost, don't make it about you.
Mm-hmm.
And before the COVID world, I have like 3 or 4 classes that I've actually created. So I am talking to agents constantly across the country. One thing I am saying is don't make it about you. Don't post, hey, come and say hi to me during open house, or come see me. Come, I bake fresh cookies for you. Come say hi. Not about you. It's about the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the U.S. Department of Labor considers real estate sales and leasing a hazardous, high-risk occupation. Your job description reads that you meet complete strangers in empty houses. You sit in empty houses and you wait for strangers to walk in.
Mm-hmm.
That's dangerous. My job is to help you remove some of the dangers. So when you're advertising open houses, just make it about the house. Come see this property, describe the property. You don't have to say that you are there, because it's not about you. It's about the house. Another thing is, don't do open houses alone. And I know years ago someone said that's unrealistic. Don't even bother telling agents that.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to make sure I give you realistic tools so that you will actually do it. You never ever have to do an open house alone, because you have built-in partners who will show up to these in-person open houses with you. We'll start with the new agents.
Mm-hmm.
They're always eager to learn. Your lender will do backflips to do an open house with you. They'll probably even bring refreshments.
Yeah,
Title companies, insurance agents. So you never ever have to do one alone. So have a partner there, because crime prevention truly is a numbers game. If there are witnesses, criminals are cowards. They don't want witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So have someone there with you. So that's in real life open houses.
Okay.
Virtual open houses, again, focus on the house, not on you being there. And if you can avoid putting the address there, tell them to private message you and that you will send it to them so that they can show up. That way you don't have a lot of looky-loos.
That's great. So, recently, I guess it was about a week ago now, a realtor was brutally attacked when hosting, an open house. Here locally, we had a report from a member of two men entering the open house, taking food and drinks, but luckily they didn't hurt her. It was just a very scary incident. So again, taking PPE and coronavirus out of the equation, you already mentioned one thing, which is don't hold an open house alone. What are some other recommendations for realtors that are holding in-person open houses?
You have to use technology as a friend. And a lot of times agents say, I can't wait for someone to come along. Nothing that have the agents say, no, I'll find a guy, we'll open house with, to keep you.
Tracey, we're kind of losing you here for a second. Looks like we're a little frozen, so we'll give that just a second. Oh, and we're back.
Okay.
Are we there, Tracey? Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were kind of cutting out there for a minute. If you could just start again, what are some things other than the having a person there with you?
The PP.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are ways to utilize technology so that you're not actually holding an open house alone. I get bombarded with a lot of information, safety products and apps for agents, and I'm very leery because this is my reputation on the line. However, I found one. It's called Agent Safe Walk. And what I like about it is that it means you never have to work alone. So if, let's say you are holding an open house and you have to be alone because you have to be alone, or you're showing a client. If you push the button on the Agent Safe Walk, automatically a monitor shows up. Someone live is there with you. So what I say to agents is incorporate that in your safe practices. Just say to whoever's in the open house with you or whoever you're showing, hey, this is our office safety protocol. Meet Mary. Mary's our safety monitor. Mary, this is my new client. And then make sure they know that they're on camera. That does two things. First and foremost, it increases witness potential. They're thinking, oh my gosh, someone can see me now. It's not me and the agent. Someone's looking in. So your monitor, Mary, becomes your witness. And then secondly, they know that you have safety protocol. Someone knows what's going on and where you are. So they're less likely to victimize you. I look at the stories of agents who have been assaulted, attacked, or harassed. And then what I do is we learn from them. So the agent there in Houston, I understand she's one of about 100 who've been getting these harassing phone calls. And the question is, how do we solve that? What can we do to protect ourselves? A lot of times people say, don't answer the phone. I've been an agent. You're going to answer the phone. This is how you make a living. Go ahead and answer the phone. And if you find out that it's an inappropriate call, then of course you end the call. And I understand that the association doesn't, but some of the agents has forewarn. Forewarn is an amazing, amazing service. And it allows you, basically it does a soft background check. And I had an opportunity to interview those guys for one of my Realtor magazine articles. What you do is type in the phone number and forewarn. You're going to get a basic criminal check. A background check. It'll tell you financially any crimes involving agents or any crimes that this person has committed. So that helps prevent you from wasting time. I remember one time when I was interviewing them, I was talking and we were going through some of the crimes. I said, here's a crime against an agent and here's someone who'd been arrested. And what he did is he typed in the name. He said, oh yeah, I see their arrest report. Had the agent had that information, they wouldn't have taken that meeting. They wouldn't have shown it. So utilize technology.
Yeah, that's great. So Forewarn and a few other members mentioned that too. Somebody asked, what is Forewarn? So I'm glad you explained that. Agent Safe Walk. Diane said, yes, Forewarn is my ultimate favorite too. Do you happen to know the cost for Forewarn and for Safe Walk, or for Safe Walk, excuse me?
I am thinking, and I always, when it comes, and I sell safety items like pepper spray and everything, and price is never an issue. But I know that I'm trying. I can't even pull a number out of my head because when talking with them, I always make sure first and foremost it's not some outrageous price that agents can't on a commission that they can't afford. So I'm sorry, I don't know the exact cost, but if you will ask me, you can certainly get the information in the comments. I'll get it for you and I'll report back.
And so I see people commenting with the links. Diane just said it's approximately $20 a month. So
perfect.
Yeah. So you've mentioned pepper spray. I see some members commenting that they have their CHL. As far as protective weapons or equipment or things like that, what is your recommendation? Because I feel like we've heard this in the past from people that, oh well, I have my concealed handgun. I'm fine. Right? And they tend to just relax a little bit because they know they have a gun somewhere. So what are your thoughts on that, on any kind of weapons or equipment that could be used to protect yourself?
First and foremost, yay for anything that you use. Anyone who takes any kind of class, whether it's a self-defense class, if they carry a concealed weapon or carry pepper spray, yay, yay, yay. Anything that you can do is good. The National Association, I had to interview them, so that's why I know so much. The National Association of Realtors said there are no rules regarding carrying a gun when working. They refer you to your local association. So check with your local association, make sure it is permissible for you to actually carry a gun while working, and then more importantly, check with your company. Make sure your company, your sales company, allows you to carry a weapon while you're working. I've also talked to agents who say, oh, my husband made me get a gun, but I really don't like guns. In situations where you're not comfortable and it's not your choice, you're not going to use a gun. You're not going to have it. You're not going to feel comfortable using it. So for those situations, you need to go with what you're comfortable with. And when the National Association of Realtors surveyed real estate agents for their non-lethal choices, pepper spray's been number one. So if you choose to carry pepper spray, you need to know what you're carrying. First and foremost, if you have one, grab your pepper spray, look at the canister. If the canister says CN or CS, that means you're carrying tear gas. That's a no-no. Tear gas is antiquated. Law enforcement officials don't even carry it anymore. So make sure you have pepper spray, and you'll see the initials OC. Pure pepper spray, that's what law enforcement officials, that's what postal carriers use. Works on people and it works on dogs. So nothing is 100% though, but that pepper spray is the most effective. Causes the eyes to burn in water. It swells the mucous membrane, so they're coughing and gasping for air for 30 minutes. The beauty of pepper spray is that it's non-lethal. It's a natural product, same thing you have in your kitchen. So you know when you use it that if you spray someone, that it's going to incapacitate them for a while you get out of there. And you also know that if you accidentally spray someone, you're not going to kill them, so you don't hesitate to use it. So definitely know what your choices are as far as weapons. But whatever you choose, whether it's a gun, self-defense, or pepper spray, you need to practice. Practice. Be familiar with it, be comfortable with it. But one of the things that I do, Christina, is I focus on safe work practices. I'd rather you not get to the point where you have to use a weapon. So that's why in my training, I talk about ways to screen in a safe manner, open house safety, showing safety. I talk about the whole gamut, social media safety, ways to work in a safer manner. So hopefully you don't even get to the point of needing a weapon.
So if you could share with us a few of those tips of working in a safe manner, so that you wouldn't actually need to use any of those weapons. Can you share some of that with us?
The most important thing, and I start every single class with this, anything that I do in the world, the first thing I say is to use the built-in survival mechanism that we're born with. And then let me throw a question out there, Christina, if you would. Agents, write down what you think that is. What do you think the safety tool that every single one of us are born with? Let me know when you see some answers in the chat.
So what are the safety tools that we are all born with? And they're on a tiny delay, so it might take a second there. And while we wait for those, somebody did mention pepper spray dispensers can only be used once. If you discharge it, replace it with a new one. Someone else said having a weapon is only helpful if you practice consistently. So, yeah.
And let me back up while we wait for the answers of what built-in survival mechanism we have. Pepper spray can be used more than once. If you have the pepper spray canister, it's a half ounce. You have 8 to 10 1-second sprays. It's just like a hair can spray. You use it until it's gone. So, and I took pepper spray training at the police academy. I know more about pepper spray than anyone could imagine. So make sure you have the right kind. If you have the one-time use pepper spray, then be cautious. But the traditional ones, you can use more than once.
Very good. So a lot of responses: gut instinct, gut intuition, fight or flight, be aware, common sense. Someone said a pin. Distract them and run away, instincts, guts and common sense, fight or flight. So a lot of people are saying your guts, your intuition, your instincts, being aware, scream and run. So that's a lot of responses coming in.
And a lot of people are right. Every animal in nature is born with a built-in survival mechanism. We call it intuition, instinct, sixth sense, your gut, fight or flight, whatever you want to call it. Every animal in nature has it. human beings are the only ones who ignore it. And we ignore that voice because we want to be nice and we're looking for that commission check. But I am here to say that in 99% of the time, talk to crime prevention officers, rape crisis counselors, 99% of the time when they interview victims, they say, I had a weird feeling. I knew something wasn't right. Something told me not to do it. I am here to say, listen to your bodies. Your gut is hardly ever wrong. If you get in a situation and it turns out okay, but at least you have an opportunity to get out of it before it gets bad. So listen to your bodies, make up an excuse. And I'm trying to think Beverly Carter's story. Mm-hmm. I got an opportunity to interview her office mate, and she said that once Beverly got that phone call that this guy wanted to buy a house, she, made the appointment, and then she hung up and she was talking in her office. She said, something's not right about this. I don't feel right. Her gut was warning her. So what she did is she called back and she said, hey, I'm not comfortable meeting you alone. He said, oh, don't worry, I'll bring my wife. And we all know now that that was his accomplice. So her gut told her something was wrong. So any situation, listen to your gut, get out of it, make up an excuse, whatever it takes. If you have to apologize later, so it goes. But our bodies are hardly ever wrong. That's the number one safety tool that anyone should practice.
And I've heard it's more common for, and I guess it could be said for both sides, but I guess I've heard it's more common for women to not want to offend someone.
Too nice.
Asking for information or things like that. We're like, oh, I don't want to offend them or lose the sale or things like that. And then sometimes men might be like, well, I work out, I'm strong. If somebody were to attack me, I could fight back. So any thoughts on that, on offending somebody or just kind of letting our guard down?
First and foremost, let's talk about the men down. Okay. Back in 2017, I wrote an article. It talks about the 4 dangerous acts that male agents do to put themselves in danger. It was the most read article of the year on Realtor, for Realtor magazine, the most read of the year, because, and I interviewed male agents. It's like, why do you guys not take safety so seriously? I had one agent say, he said, we're stupid. And then I had one say, because of that machismo thing, like you said, they think they're big and tough. They don't have to worry about it. January of 2019, a male real estate agent was killed in the line of duty. And I have a list when I do my presentation. I have 7 names on the PowerPoint slide. They're all male agents. Mm-hmm. And they're male agents who have been physically assaulted or who've been killed while working. So it happens to men and it happens to women. So everyone needs to take it seriously. And then another thing is when I have the male agents say, I'll accompany, any female agent in the office who needs help, I'll accompany them. I'm saying you need to have someone with you as well, because male agents can be assaulted and robbed just as easily. And along the lines of having a buddy with you, having a buddy who sits in the car while you show is not helpful. I had a male agent who was showing a property. His wife went with him. She was in the car. He was in the property. 3 people came in and assaulted him. She's in the car doing whatever she was doing. So whoever accompanies you, they need to be alert and aware. They can't practice real estate, of course, but just being present reduces your opportunity to be victimized. Mm-hmm. So tell me what the question was, Christine.
No, it was just, people just being afraid of offending someone, or they might lose the sale for offending them.
See, that's the problem. Being nice can get you killed. Mm-hmm. So I say this is business. Mm-hmm. If they're about to make the largest transaction of their life, they should have no problem sharing their ID card or anything licensed with you. This is the biggest sell. How many times do people reach in their wallet and carelessly hand over their ID to the Blockbuster clerk to rent a video without thinking twice? Mm-hmm. So here you are about to help them with the largest transaction of their lives. If they hesitate, then that's a problem. Another thing you can do is you can make your mortgage, your lender, your partner. If you don't want to do the heavy lifting, let them do it. If they go and get pre-approved, not just pre-qualified, but pre-approved, your mortgage broker, your lender is going to do the work. They're going to check them out. They're going to make sure they are who they say they are. So lean on your mortgage lender, partner with them, and then that way they're legitimate and that they've asked for the ID. So definitely use your partners for that.
That's wonderful. And I think it is the norm in other industries. When you go to buy a car, if you want to do a test drive, you have to show your driver's license, and if you go even to tour an apartment, they ask for your ID and they hold it in the office until that tour is over. So this should be standard practice for us as well. And I see a lot of members commenting about this on some best practices, asking for an ID. Joseph asked, what about requiring a photo ID in advance when they make the appointment?
And that is ideal. And a lot of the procedures that we're moving to now requires you to do that. So, and it's just a business practice. You should be able to ask for the ID and ask for some information. How many times as an agent did I waste valuable time showing people, first of all, who couldn't qualify after we looked at 20 million houses in 3 months? Then we get to the table and they can't qualify. So definitely lean on the lender and ask for the ID. If they're going to make, again, the largest financial transaction of their life, there should be no question. And Christina, that's an excellent point. When I do my programs, I talk about renting. You have to go into the leasing office, and you have to show ID, or else you're not looking at any properties. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The real estate industry needs to move in lockstep, and if all agents are asking that same question, then the buyers will have no choice but to comply. But for the agent who is afraid that the next agent won't ask the question, they'll say, oh yeah, let's go meet. That hurts it for everyone. So everyone should be asking across the board, and it should not be a big deal with legitimate buyers. So don't hesitate to ask. It could save your life.
Yeah, definitely. Jasmine made a good point. If you treat everyone the same, you won't feel like you're offending anyone. So if that's just your standard business practice, as you said, you won't feel like you're offending anyone, and that's just how I do business. So that makes sense. All right, so a lot of good comments coming in. Have them text a photo ID before meeting with them. So a lot of great comments. Someone said, yes, apartments have been doing this for years. So it sounds like we as an industry just need to all decide together that this is how we're going to do business to protect ourselves. So that's wonderful.
I agree.
So,
and FaceTime too, in these virtual interviews, the first call, a Skype is perfect. First call to talk to a new prospective client, instead of doing it on the phone, do it by Skype. Now you have their image, and they know you have their image. That's going to reduce the opportunity for them to victimize you anonymously. So utilize the technology we have now. We're in a new age. And then for the agent who said do it consistently across the board, agreed. 100%. And that's the same thing with your COVID questions. You're supposed to be comfortable enough to ask your buyers as well as your sellers. Has anyone here tested positive for COVID? Have you been exposed to anyone with COVID? If you are doing that, do it with every single seller, every single buyer. That way you stay out of trouble. But it's still an important question, and you need to be asking it. But consistency, good job.
Yeah. Very good. And as someone just made a comment, I always blame it on my broker and say my broker requires a copy of your ID.
I mean, that's our excellent point. This is the safety policy in our office. I must ask for an ID. Blame it on whoever. And even when it comes to when we get to the point of driving clients around, blame it on your insurance agent. We can't have anyone in our cars. At this time, my insurance agent is afraid of the liability, or my car's too junky. You can blame your partners for your safety if you're not comfortable just outright saying, this is for my safety. I don't know you from Adam. So if I were your mom, your sister, or your wife, or your daughter, you would want them to take these precautions. So please understand why I ask you to do what I ask you to do.
Very good. So we've talked about virtual, and it sounds like for the most part you're suggesting that virtual is the best option for your safety. However, with new virtual tools, there's always internet safety in mind. And so, if you're holding virtual meetings or things like that with your clients, what are some best practices to keep your clients safe and protect their information?
Okay, protecting information is a big deal, as you all know, in the industry. And then when you're talking about more virtual meetings, and everybody, of course, is moving virtually. And I think it's a good time, because now sellers and buyers have, over these past 3 or 4 months, they realize the only way you're doing anything is virtually. So there's not so much of we're pushing them outside of their comfort zone. It is what it is now. Some of the Zoom issues, that was a big deal. So you had to learn how to conduct a virtual meeting in Zoom in a safe manner, simply by requiring a password. So make sure, especially with your client meetings, that if you're going to do it by Zoom or any other Skype or what are the other FaceTimes, that you make sure you're doing it in a secure manner, because there is a whole black market with a lot of these the Zoom sign-in IDs, all of this information, and you would be surprised. And there is a website called Have I Been Pwned? And that's PWND. I'm going to comment that in the chat section. You need to plug in your email address on that website and see whether or not any companies that you do business with have been accessed, if your email address is out there, because there is a whole group of criminals who are going through those, looking for your sign-in, your login IDs for these virtual meetings. And then without you knowing, they're signed in alongside you, talking personal and financial information with your clients. You're exposing your client information. So I will comment in the comment section that website, check your email address and make sure your information's not out there. You need to keep those meetings secure. Require a meeting ID, a password whenever you're meeting virtually with your clients. That keeps those, I call them interlopers, out of your meeting. And that way you don't have to worry about the information getting out in the wrong hands.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for that, Tracey. And we went ahead and added that link in the comments for the people that are asking what's the website. We just posted that in there for you guys.
Perfect.
So Tracey, this has been so helpful, such wonderful information, and timely, as we know that realtors have been targets, especially here lately. Is there anything else that you want to share with our members? Any helpful tips? Anything that we didn't discuss today?
Best practices, and I know one of the agents there said it, I think a couple. Best practices, have your safety plan in place beforehand. That means that if you always do something, always do it. And the one time you say, oh, I'll just go show this one time, it'll be okay, that's when things happen. So have your practices in place. That means your screening, whether it's Forewarn or any other device. You can even go to Google and do Google searches on your clients. There are websites that make it their business to have all of that information about you, about everyone else, public. Spokio.com is one. I don't know if PIPL.com is still out there, but those websites, they compile all of the public information on not only the clients that you can search, and some of those searches you can do for free. You can find out a lot of information just Googling and searching, but keep in mind that those same sites have information about you. So while you're searching your clients, they're searching you too. So know what's out there about you. Set up Google alerts so that way if anything's ever published about you out on the internet, you will know first and foremost, and you'll be able to get ahead of it. And I can do this all day. So I have my class. I created the only safety designation for real estate agents in the country. It consists of 2 CE classes where I teach agents everything from technology, online, cyberspace, cyber safety, identity theft, all of that. We talk about safe practices. So that's definitely an option. Make sure you get training. And to help brokers, managers, and owners not get sued successfully, I created a workshop for them where I teach them how to keep their office safe from the 4 walls, everything inside, as well as setting up best practices. And I wrote a safety policy handbook. So definitely lean on your resources. And I appreciate that the Houston Association of Realtors thought enough of their agent safety to bring in a safety expert. Just not everybody can do what I do. So definitely virtual hugs to you all, Christina, and definitely thank your association and practice these. Take classes. I had a broker manager say agents only show up for classes where they teach you how to make more money. Safety is important too, and I just happen to find a way to combine the two where I teach you to be safe and I give you the handouts and tools for marketing. FISBO safety that you can give to your FISBOs with your business card attached, teach them how to be safe, a seller security checklist. So all kinds of good tools that you can get from good, consistent training.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much, Tracey. A lot of our members are really thanking you and just saying what great information this was. Joyce said, thanks guys, I'm a new agent and this is very helpful. Somebody said always Google them, and Dan said and wash your hands. So yes.
and don't forget my new group. I started a real estate safety group, and it's called the Safety and Security Source for Real Estate. Get over on Facebook, join that group. We're going to be talking about these stories, the crimes against agents. I'm giving resources, my articles. I'm hearing from other agents. What are your concerns and what can you add to the conversation? So safety is a big deal, not just because of the recent crimes, but it's always a big deal. Let's get out in front of it.
Yeah, very good. So again, we'll put the link to Tracey's Facebook group in the comments. Some people are saying we need the classes, so we can definitely look into having Tracey teach some of those CE classes. And all of the links that Tracey mentioned, we've been putting them into the comments, but if we missed any, I'll go back and make sure we got them. Somebody did ask, can we get a transcript of this? This video, this live video becomes a video on our Facebook page, so you can come back and watch this at any time. I would encourage you guys to, if you found this helpful and you haven't shared it with your audience yet, go ahead and share this video as well. Share it if you have a broker group or any other friends that are realtors on Facebook. Share this video with them, or if it's off of Facebook, copy this link and email it to them so they can watch it. And again, Tracey, all of our members are thanking you. The group link is in the comments, so those of you that were asking for the group name, it's right there. And again, thank you guys for the birthday wishes. You're very sweet. So
can I do one more thing?
Yes, ma'am, Tracey, go ahead.
If you go to Realtor magazine, you'll see my most recent article about working virtually. In that article, I created a video for you to use for your sellers, so your sellers understand while you're asking these questions and how you are going to make sure they are safe. So take a peek at that video. Feel free to share it with your sellers. Share it on your Facebook page so the sellers understand you're looking out for their safety and that you are doing these to protect them as well as protect the buyers. So definitely let them know you're safety aware.
Thank you. And now you guys all know why Tracey's called the safety lady. So thank you again, Tracey. And to all of our members that were watching today, again, we want you all to stay safe. So please take these tips. I hope you were taking notes. And if not, again, you can watch this video again and go check out some of Tracey's other resources, her other articles and videos that she mentioned. All really good information. Next week we will not have a Member Focus Monday. We have the 4th of July holiday next week, so we will not have a Member Focus Monday. But we will be back the following Monday. So until then, everyone stay safe. As Dan said, wash your hands. And again, Tracey, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you all, and be safe.
All right. Have a great Monday, everybody.